Hi guys, can I tell you, it's really good to be back. And we're going to dive right into what's really happening in these markets. And I came across this weekend. Now, I've shown you this. This comes from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, the OCC. And remember, I'm happy to give you these links. So you could just call your strategy specialist and they'll send you all the links, or they're posted on here. What are we looking at here? Well, we're looking at derivatives in the FDIC-insured banks. I've shown this chart for so long. Can you see what the most recent one is doing? I mean, that is a big spike up. Now, what do we know about the profits that the banks have been making from trading? Can you see that? Can you see that since they started tracking this, and I think this goes back to 2000 or something like that, because that's really when the speculative derivative market expanded. Do you see a spike like that? Now look, on the bottom, derivative notional amounts increased in the first quarter by 42.5%. Now look, I don't care about the numbers after that, because that is actually reflective of a 89.9% netting benefit. What that means is they take this contract and it's kind of close to this contract, so boom, both of those cancel out. So what I'm showing you here, why don't you almost double that? Because we're looking at about 90% more than what you're seeing here. That scares the Hades out of me. I'm not going to lie. When I saw that, I went, holy crap, because you don't see that kind of price. Or it's not so much the price action, that's the notional value of those contracts. That means that's the trading value of those contracts. Have you seen another spike like that? I'm showing you the entire chart. Now, 98 to 99% of all of those derivatives are held for speculation. That's trading. We are fully in a trading market. That's what all of this is about. It's just all about, It's all about the flow of funds. I wish I could make the central banks not be able to do that. But it is all about all of this garbage. Really, I feel like I've learned so much and have evolved so much in just even the last few weeks. This scares the Hades out of me because these are speculative derivative contracts in the FDIC-insured banks. We haven't seen any kind of behavior like this. What are all those contracts about? And they're like twice as high as that. You might be sitting here going, well, I don't know. But I'm going to sit here and tell you, Wall Street is a big fat lie. I worked in it for a really long time. I worked in the banking so that I could understand the language. I didn't know that's why I was doing it at the time, but it makes a whole lot of sense so that when I look at things and I read things, I know how to read them. And I'm telling you, FDIC, how safe do you feel inside of your bank? What happened in 2008? Much, not as much as we're looking at in the derivatives in the system right now. What can I say? This should scare the crap out of you. And you're looking at what happens in the spot gold and the spot silver markets. That's also a lie. It is all about a trade. It is not about the real thing. Here, we only deal with the real thing, the physical stuff, not a claim against it or a promise against it. We send you the physical metal. You hold it, you own it, you run zero counterparty risk. But they've had such a good quarter with the tradings, the best half year like ever with all their trading revenues. So what do they turn around and do? Well, I haven't even pulled this story up, but it makes all the sense in the world. JP Morgan kicks off the sale of high-grade debt. Okay, why did JP Morgan need debt? Why are they coming out with this huge amount of debt? And they're not the only ones, all the hyperscalers and lots of corporations. They're having their best trading quarter ever. So now let's issue debt. Why? Because you strike while the iron is hot. And right now they feel like this, well, look, I can't put words in their mouth and they didn't actually say this. But the reality is they've had their best trading half year. Let's take on more debt because people will buy it. They will absorb it. And this is how Wall Street makes money. It's not just the central banks that are doing all of this. It's Wall Street that is creating what they want you to think of as wealth from nothing, from debt. And it only works as long as it works. And when I see what I showed you the first time, I mean, that is flippant exponential. That is straight up. Those are hidden bets. What is a derivative? It is a bet. And they cannot convert to the underlying. So all it is a big fat bet. And who gets hurt when those bets go south? You do. That's who gets hurt, not them. Look what happened in 2008. Nobody went to jail. So what do we have? We have a gambling environment. I'm sorry, guys, because I wish I didn't have to say this, but you want to save yourself? This. And food, water, energy, security, barterability, wealth preservation, community, and shelter, you better get it done. Because between that first slide and what I'm looking at here, and I'll dig into this a whole lot more, but I'm telling you right now, this looks like a big blow off. And I've been talking for a while now and saying we're in the melt up phase. Yeah. We're in the melt-up phase that always comes before the big crash. Let's suck all the wealth out of the population, out of the public, while we can still transfer that wealth. Don't fall for it. Get yourself in a position, a sound money foundation, so that instead of having to fear what's happening, you get to have some of that wealth transfer your way. It's not rocket science. It's just what happens 100% of the time. Could this time be different? Well, they always want you to think this time is different, but is it really different? No, it isn't. It is not really different. And I want you to have ownership. Physical in your possession is ownership. Anything else is not. I'm sorry, but it's just true. Now, I came across this and I thought that it was really interesting, especially when I saw what they were writing about, because France has pulled $15 billion in gold. See how they give that value to the dollars? How many ounces of gold did they pull? That is far more important than what that dollar number is. But okay, from U.S. vaults and more European countries may follow. Is it a global currency shift coming? Yes, it is a global currency shift that is already taking place and didn't start tomorrow or today or yesterday. It started in 2008 when the system died. It is not an accident that all of a sudden magically we have these cryptocurrencies that have no physical presence, but they make them look like gold, right? They want you to think of them like gold. I came across a thing with stablecoins, and of course it was depicted as gold. It ain't gold. It is taking you deeper into a system that they control and you do not. And you have a choice. We all have a choice. You can do nothing and flow into it and then just live with the consequences. Or we can come together in community, say no, and get redeemable gold back in the system again. If we do not do this, then what we have going forward is like pure slavery. Because the whole function of gold, the way that it was sold to the public, is that it's supposed to hold the labor that you generate today for use in the future at the same level of purchasing power. What a concept. That's how you retire. That's how you educate your kids. That's how you create a life and your hopes and your dreams. Does this do that? Does this stuff do that? A $20 currency, a $20 bill, a $20 note This is also a note. This is my $10 trillion Zimbabwe note. Take your pick. These are all notes. What's a note? A note is a debt instrument. It's a promise to pay. And they promise to pay you less and less and less. Whether you realize it or not, they are robbing you of the only thing that you really have, which is your time. What else do you have? You have your time. And if the promise was that the money would hold the value of your labor over time, they have failed you. And now, going into this new digital system, that goes from permission. Oh, can I access my account? I don't know. If you're sitting out there, have you ever gone into use your card at a store and it was declined? Nope, can't do it. That means you need permission to access that wealth. Okay, you got to do whatever it is that you're comfortable. But never has it been more important than you have that foundation and that layer. And so let's just go to questions. And this is Daryl F&G's. I've been hearing that mortgages will just be recalculated at the post-reset valuation. If that happens, how are we going to pay off our fixed rate debt? Love you much and thank you. Well, you're going to pay it off before that happens. That's what we're going to do. We want you completely out of debt. Even if they can you see why we have to take our power back? Because if we don't take our power back and we get that reset and you pay off your mortgage, anything is possible, right? Because they can legalize anything where all of a sudden they put more back on you. But if you have enough gold, if you have enough sound money, real money, this is not a problem either. But if we take our power back and we hold gold outside, enough people, we need 3% of the population, that's all, to hold sound money gold outside of the system, we can take our power back because now we actually have something that's outside of the system and they can't control us. As long as you also have surety, food, water, energy, security, barterability, wealth preservation, community, and shelter. Community is arguably the most important part because that's what's going to push this over and get sound money back in the system again. That's globally, but locally, that's what's going to help you create that surety. There's power in numbers, and we are powerful people. Why? Because we are armed with the truth. You don't know how much I wished I had a voice in 2008 because, oh my goodness, it was so ripe for it. Occupy Wall Street. That was a phenomenal global movement. But I said it then, I'll say it today as I'm looking at socialism creeping in more and more and more. You don't know what you're fighting for. You're fighting for the wrong thing. Why fight for rent control? How about fighting for money control? What a concept. What a concept. We can do this. I know we can. So let's make it happen. 3% of the population owning physical gold, physical silver, sound money in your possession. You will maintain the value of the work and you will make a positive difference for our children. It's a win-win. And until next we meet, please be safe out there wherever you are in the world. Bye-bye.